It happened at 2 minutes after 8 last evening. Siobhan and myself had just signed off, and we were making our way down the passage into the newsroom when we felt the shaking. Yes, young Mahira Stewart looking at the water cooler stand and say, "What is happening?" That was another felt earthquake in Jamaica. According to the authorities, it registered 4.2, a magnitude of 4.2 at 2 minutes after 8. And, some of you have turned me into a laughing stock. Yeah? I see the comments and I smile. All right, man. Enjoy yourself at my expense. I was not on air, so I didn't have to dive. I didn't have to dive, David. Yes. We essentially froze in the newsroom yesterday evening. But the professor of sedimentary geology at the University of the West Indies, Professor Simon Mitchell, explained what happened, and also in this clip that we're going to play for you, gave again some very good advice. Yes? Here he is, Professor Simon Mitchell.
Yesterday we had a small earthquake of a magnitude 4.2 in the area of Portland, about 5 kilometers south of Hope Bay. It's relatively shallow, and depth of about 5.8 kilometers as determined by the earthquake unit. And it occurred at 8:02 p.m. This is an aftershock really after the earthquake we had in October of last year, which was a much larger 5.6 magnitude earthquake. This is virtually in the same sort of area, so it's close to the community of Chelsea in Portland. The likelihood is there might be a few other aftershocks which could come along. They might be in the next day or two, or it might be even further along within weeks or even months. Clearly we have seen some of these faults moving and the stress patterns have changed, and what we are now going to see is basically a continuation of these sorts of things. Whether we get a larger earthquake is something that is not easy to actually determine, but the reality is that these sorts of things do occasionally happen, and we have to be prepared. We have to be very prepared for these sort of situations. So in preparation for earthquakes, you have to develop a plan for your family. When they happen, if they happen during the night or whether they happen during the day, people are going to be in different places. And at these times, you need to actually say, okay, if an earthquake happens and you're safe, stay where you are. If there is potential damage to infrastructure, so you can't get home. If you're at home when an earthquake happens, you want to protect yourself. So the most important part of your body is your head, so you want to protect that. So arms over the head is a must to begin with. If you can get onto something like a wooden table, that's a good idea. If you can get safely and quickly outside, that's a good idea as well, because really the damage is things falling on you, and that can include parts of your roof if that collapses, or even cabinets and things along those lines. Jamaica sits in an area which is basically affected by earthquakes, and so we need to be prepared for when these actually happen.
Now, Several things to chew on there from Professor Mitchell. This event last evening may have been an aftershock from the 5.6 October earthquake, October last year. He said it was fairly shallow, meaning the depth that it originated from in terms of the movement of the fault lines was only 5.8 meters below the ground. That is quite shallow. Yeah? When earthquakes happen, we'd rather them happen much deeper within the crust of the earth, because if it's much deeper, you will feel less shaking, and the more likely it will be weaker in intensity, and therefore our structures are more likely to stand up. The more shallow it is, the stronger the intensity and the magnitude, and more dangerous and life-threatening it is. But what surprises me, from October last year, we're now May 2, May 1 yesterday. That's what? 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And we're still feeling the aftershocks. Yeah? And of course, he warned us again. We are in an earthquake zone. They are going to happen. The most we can do is to prepare. Prepare. And we prepare in several respects, in terms of enforcing, making sure we build our physical structures according to the building codes. And we're experiencing something of a construction boom in Jamaica for a number of years now. We have to build according to the code so that the chances of our structures standing up are improved. At the personal level, what would you do if the place starts to shake now and we have a serious one? And when we say serious, mean buildings start to come down. Yeah? People are being killed. Transport is affected. Telecommunications is affected. And we are in a real crisis. What is the plan for your family, your business? Yeah? And he reminded us, protect your head. Yes, that's what I sought to do last October. Protect my head by going under this table here. And you all laugh at me. But that is the thing to do, protect your head first and foremost. Yeah? And I can't repeat enough the need to do that, because the first priority is to save your life. Okay? Not to panic like Nora did and tried to head for the door, because running out, you don't know which part of the building is going to come down. Yeah? So protect your head. Cover your head. Duck, cover, hold. Yeah? And wait until the shaking stops. You know, yesterday, 2 minutes after 8, but earlier in the Eastern Caribbean at about 1:30 yesterday, there was also a quake of a similar magnitude in Trinidad and Tobago yesterday. It happened, according to the Seismic Research Unit at St. Augustine, UA, at 1:33 yesterday afternoon. And that was also felt in Venezuela, in the city of Carúpano. Yeah? It was the second quake recorded in 24 hours. We don't know what is happening. What we do know, according to Professor Mitchell, we here in Jamaica are having the felt aftershocks of that October event. And the people of Hope Bay, near the community of Chelsea, you ought to pay particular attention because you're going to feel the worst effects of it first if it is really a strong one. There are several matters in the criminal court that are attracting unusually high public attention. One of them, of course, is the killing of Jolyan Silvera's wife, Melissa. Well, today, the 2nd of May, the murder accused and former Member of Parliament, the PNP's Jolyan Silvera, is due back in court this morning for another bail application hearing. Of course, the matter was again postponed when it came up in the gun court on April 11. He's back in court this morning. This will be Jolyan Silvera's 4th court appearance since he was charged with the killing of his wife, Melissa, on January 16 this year. You may recall, there he is appearing in court. Yes, this morning, dressed in white, and that looks like a pair of black trout pants. Oh, come in here and talk to me now, please. They just got some pictures in if you're on YouTube, and they're trying to tell me in my ears and telling me foolishness. I don't understand. What you're saying to me, George Davis?
Not a soul not telling you foolishness. Morning, listeners, morning
Good
viewers.
morning.
So, Jolyan Silvera is in the
white
front. Yes, in the white shirt with the black trousers, as you said. And then behind him, because you set the stage for it, because you said some high-profile cases in the court.
Right.
Omar Collymore is the man in the grey T-shirt, the glasses, and with the long hair.
That's him.
That's Omar Collymore.
Oh, we have seen pictures of him. Thank you, George. But first time we're seeing a video shot of Colymore, because that matter is also gripping attention now. Colymore is on trial for ordering the killing of his wife, Simone. So, 2 potential wife killers in that photo. Yeah? 2 accused wife murderers. Yeah? In that photo. Silvera in the front there, Colymore in the back. Yeah, behind him in the grey T-shirt. Melissa was initially reported to have died of natural causes in November last year. But the matter was upgraded to a murder investigation after an autopsy revealed bullet fragments inside her body. He was later charged with her murder and also charged with using a firearm to commit a felony. Yes? At his last court appearance, his attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagny, told journalists that outstanding documents contributed to the postponement of the application for bail. Yes? Well, Casey Champagny is hopeful that those outstanding documents will be ready and be furnished to the court today. Yeah? Remember now, members of the media have not been permitted to sit inside the courtroom. Yeah? According to the judge, the media is barred from covering the proceedings in keeping with the Gun Court Act. Yes. At the same time, the man in the grey T-shirt behind Silvera, that's Omar Collymore. Yes, that's Collymore, who is also on a murder charge. Yeah? The allegation being that he ordered and contracted men to kill his wife Simone. On January 2, 2018, she and her taxi driver. Well, a lot happened in court yesterday. Yeah? One of the moments, he said, I never spoke to that murderer. That was his assertion when he was questioned about conversations he allegedly had with a man convicted of killing his wife. Yeah? The prosecutor, Andrea Martin Swaby, cross-examined him yesterday and laid bare several contradictions, yeah, in his evidence so far. Nora Gay Banton has more.
Simone Campbell Collymore and a taxi driver, Winston Walters, were shot and killed on January 2, 2018, at the entrance to her apartment complex on Stanley Terrace in Red Hill, St. Andrew. Her husband, Omar, is charged jointly with Michael Adams, Dwayne Pink, and Shaquila Edwards with murder and conspiracy to murder. A fifth man, Wade Blackwood, who was one of the shooters, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of illegal possession of a firearm in January 2021. 3 months later, he was handed 2 life sentences for the murders and 8.5 years for the firearm. After agreeing to testify in the trial, Blackwood was resentenced to life with eligibility for parole after serving 20 years. When his trial resumed on Wednesday, Colymore denied sharing a cell with Blackwood at the Halfway Tree police lockup. He later admitted that he and Blackwood did share the same cell at the Horizon Remand Adult Center in Kingston. However, Colymore indicated that they did not remain in the cell at the same time. Colymore also asserted that he never spoke with Blackwood during the time they were in lockup. Colymore's testimony significantly contrasted with that of Blackwood, who testified in March that he and Colymore spoke while in jail at the Halfway Tree lockup. When questioned by the senior prosecutor as to whether Blackwood asked him why he gave him a contract to kill Simone, Colymore denied that such a conversation occurred. Colymore was then pressed on whether he spoke to Blackwood about his wife's murder. However, in a stern voice, Colymore replied,
"No, never. I never spoke to that man. I never spoke to that murderer. Period."
Colymore was then asked whether Blackwood told him he would plead guilty. However, he maintained that Blackwood never spoke to him. The prosecution also suggested to Colymore that he had told Blackwood how to plead while they shared a cell at the police lockup. But Colymore insisted,
"No, I never spoke to that man. Period."
Colymore stated that he shared a cell with Blackwood for about 1 month. According to Colymore, he had never met Blackwood before sharing a jail cell with him. He further stated that he did not know who killed his wife until Blackwood pleaded guilty. Colymore also denied that one of his co-defendants, Michael Adams, indicated that Colymore was the one who gave him a contract to kill his wife. The trial resumes on Thursday at 10. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Nora. Just going back to the photograph we have up on the screen. Give me a wide shot of it, full shot of it. David, we have some more information. So, Silvera, Jolyan, yeah, he's in the front in the white, yes. Behind him, in grey, the grey T-shirt with the, what you call that, the locks, yes, that is Colymore. And the person cuffed, yeah, to Colymore is one of his 3 co-accused, Dwayne Pink, yeah, Dwayne Pink, yeah, he's the man cuffed to Colymore, right? So just for you to get to know, so the murder accused, Silvera, former MP, is in the front in the white shirt. We don't know who is the person in blue, yeah, immediately beside Silvera. But behind them, in the grey, is Colymore, who is also in that high-profile trial as well, charged for murder for ordering the contract killing of his wife, Simone. And cuffed to him is one of his 3 co-accused, Dwayne Pink, yes? His other co-accused are Michael Adams and Shaquila Edwards. Also revealed in court yesterday in the Colymore trial, yeah, it was disclosed that he did not attend his wife's funeral. Yeah, he did not attend his wife's funeral. Yeah, and according to the Observer's reporting this morning, yeah, he told the court, quote, The day of my wife's funeral, I was taken off a plane at the Norman Manley International Airport, but I did not know it was the day of her funeral. I learned that when I got arrested and they took me to Constant Spring Police Station, that's when they told me I was leaving the island to go home to Florida. I knew she was not buried as yet, so I had plans of coming back to Jamaica safely when I saw fit. And according to the observers reporting this morning, I was issued a warning by the U.S. Embassy to leave. I saw it fit to leave, he said. Really? That's interesting. So your wife has been murdered. You didn't order it. You didn't do it. And the day of her funeral, you didn't even know that she was being buried on that day. Yes, and you were on a plane to leave Jamaica. Really now? Yeah? It also came out in court yesterday that he had an extramarital affair, yeah, with a woman who testified, yeah? And he, according to McGregor, no, this is not McGregor, this is the prosecutor, said, Miss McGregor, who you indicated you had an intimate relationship with, gave evidence in this case. She indicated that you asked her back for the money that you had invested in her ice cream parlor, or gave her to set up the ice cream parlor. Miss McGregor said that in December 2017, you approached her for the money. How much did you give to her? Martin Swaby asked Colymore. In response, Colymore said, quote, over a period, that business probably cost me about $3 million. When I asked her for the money, I was asking her for the $3 million. She and I were no longer in a relationship, and she indicated that would not be possible. I did not get back any of the money I invested in the business. At the time when I asked for the funds, I was not living under the Campbell's roof. And by that, he came back to Jamaica with Simone, his murdered wife, and they were living at her parents' home. And it also came out in the court yesterday that they were having financial problems. Their businesses were in debt, in steep debt, and they were having problems. But your wife has been killed in such a tragic manner, 21 bullets, and she's being buried. And you didn't know, and you were on a plane, according to him, going home to Florida.